The next Alex Eala test in Cincinnati is here, and this one carries serious weight. The 21-year-old Filipina has reached the third round of the Cincinnati Open after Elena Gabriela Ruse retired while trailing 6-1, 3-0, and waiting across the net is world number 10 Amanda Anisimova. It will be their first meeting, and the matchup puts Eala directly against one of the biggest names in the draw. More importantly, it gives the rising Filipino star another opportunity to show how far her game has come. Welcome to the channel. If you follow Alex Eala's remarkable rise and want the latest updates from her North American hardcourt swing, make sure you're subscribed. Because this Cincinnati storyline is moving quickly. Eala is not simply entering another tournament match. She arrives after winning her first WTA Tour singles title in Washington, reaching the fourth round in Toronto, and climbing to a career-high ranking of number 20. Now she faces Anisimova, a player with Grand Slam final experience and a top 10 ranking. The immediate headline is simple: Eala has advanced, and Anisimova is next. Eala controlled her second-round encounter with Ruse from the beginning, taking the opening set 6-1 and moving ahead 3-0 in the second before the Romanian could continue because of an injury. The result sent Eala into the third round of this WTA 1000 event, but the bigger story is what the performance sets up. She now gets a chance against a player ranked inside the world's top 10, on one of the biggest stages of the North American swing. For Eala, there is also something especially interesting about this matchup. She has never played Anisimova before. There is no previous head-to-head record to study, no history of close battles, and no familiar tactical pattern between these two players. That means both competitors are entering with a different kind of challenge. Anisimova has to solve Eala's left-handed patterns and aggressive baseline game for the first time, while Eala has to deal with one of the most accomplished opponents she has faced during this already extraordinary season. Anisimova is not simply another top 10 opponent. The American has already reached the highest levels of the sport. She has been a Grand Slam finalist, has established herself as one of the most dangerous ball strikers on tour, and entered Cincinnati ranked number 10 in the world. She also advanced through her second-round match against Zeynep Sönmez, winning 6-2, 6-3. So when she steps onto court against Eala, she will bring experience at exactly the level Eala is trying to conquer. And Anisimova already knows that facing Eala means facing more than just the player standing across the net. Before the match, she spoke about Eala's incredible season and her huge fan base, openly expecting a packed stadium. She said she was looking forward to the atmosphere and planned to use the energy rather than allow it to become a distraction. That is important because Eala's supporters have become one of the most recognizable features of her matches during this North American swing. That atmosphere did not appear overnight. It has been building throughout Eala's breakthrough season. From her historic run at Wimbledon to her title in Washington and her deep run in Toronto, Filipino supporters have repeatedly turned up in large numbers. The crowd has become part of the conversation around her matches, but there is an important distinction here. Eala is no longer simply generating attention because of the support around her. Her results are creating that attention too. The ranking, the victories, and the title are all coming from what she is doing on court. That became especially clear in Washington. Eala captured the first WTA Tour-level singles title by a player from the Philippines when she defeated top seed Jessica Pegula in the final. The victory came after a remarkable run that included wins over several highly ranked opponents, and it pushed Eala to a career-high number 20 in the rankings. Reuters reported that she fought back after dropping the opening set against Pegula, then won 10 of the final 13 games to complete the championship comeback. That Washington title changed the conversation around Eala. Before that tournament, the question was whether she could consistently compete with established WTA stars. After Washington, the question became how high she could climb. She then carried that momentum into Toronto, where she reached the round of 16 at another WTA 1000 event. Cincinnati was always going to be another major opportunity, and receiving a first round bye meant she entered directly into the second round against Ruse. Against Ruse, Eala looked ready for the challenge. She took control early, winning the first set 6-1, and continued to apply pressure in the second. Ruse was unable to finish the match after retiring while trailing 3-0. The result also carried some personal significance because Ruse had defeated Eala during qualifying at the 2024 US Open. But this time the circumstances were completely different. Eala arrived as a top 20 player and WTA champion, with the confidence of someone who has already proven that she can handle the biggest names. The numbers behind Eala's rise are becoming increasingly difficult to ignore. Her breakthrough title in Washington came against a field containing several established stars, and her run included a victory over Naomi Osaka before the final against Pegula. The result marked her first WTA Tour Singles Championship and the latest step in a season that has already included major wins and a historic Grand Slam run. Her current ranking of number 20 is not a prediction anymore. It is the official reward for the results she has already produced. That ranking matters enormously as the US Open approaches. Cincinnati is the final tournament in Eala's planned North American hardcourt schedule before she heads toward New York. The Cincinnati Open itself is a WTA 1000 event played on outdoor hard courts at the Lindner Family Tennis Center in Mason, Ohio, with a total financial commitment of more than $7.4 million. The tournament features a 96-player singles draw, meaning the depth is enormous and every round becomes increasingly difficult. And that makes the Anisimova matchup so valuable. Eala does not need anyone to tell her what a win over a top 10 player would mean. She has already defeated elite opponents this season, but every additional victory at this level strengthens the evidence that her rise is sustainable. The bigger question is whether she can continue producing these performances against different styles, different court conditions, and different levels of pressure. Anisimova provides perhaps one of the clearest tests yet because there is no previous head-to-head history to fall back on. Tactically, this should be fascinating. Eala's game is built around aggressive baseline tennis, left-handed patterns, and the ability to take time away from opponents. She has shown that she is comfortable stepping inside the court and attacking when opportunities appear. Anisimova, meanwhile, has long been known for her clean ball striking and ability to pressure opponents from the baseline. That means this could become a battle over who controls the first few shots of each rally and who can consistently dictate rather than defend. For Eala, the serve will also be important. Against a player of Anisimova's quality, free points become valuable, but so does the ability to start rallies in favorable positions. If Eala can protect her service games and force Anisimova to hit under pressure, the match can become a physical and tactical contest rather than simply a battle of rankings. The Filipina has already shown this season that she is capable of staying composed against elite opponents, and that mental strength could become just as important as her forehand or return game. There is another element that cannot be ignored: experience. Anisimova has already played on the biggest stages in tennis, including Grand Slam finals. Eala is still building that experience, but her trajectory has accelerated dramatically. Her Wimbledon campaign was a major turning point, as she became the first Filipino player to reach the women's singles round of 16 at the championships. Instead of treating that achievement as the end of a breakthrough, she followed it with her first WTA title and another deep run at a WTA 1000 event. That is why Cincinnati feels different from some of Eala's earlier tournaments. There is no longer a question of whether she belongs in these draws. She is seated in Cincinnati and entered the event as the world number 20. She has already been announced for the Stars of the Open exhibition at Arthur Ashe Stadium during US Open Fan Week, alongside other young stars including Iva Jovic, Joao Fonseca, and Lerner Tien. The New York spotlight is coming, and Cincinnati gives Eala one final competitive test before she gets there. The timing could hardly be more interesting. Eala's ranking has risen to a level where every tournament carries different expectations. Earlier in her career, a win over a top player could be described as an upset and celebrated as a breakthrough. Now, when Eala faces a player like Anisimova, the conversation is beginning to change. People are asking whether Eala can beat her, not simply whether Eala can make the match competitive. That shift in expectations is one of the clearest signs of how quickly her status has changed. But that does not mean Eala should be treated as a favorite simply because she has momentum. Anisimova is ranked number 10 for a reason. She has the experience, the power, and the ability to finish points quickly. Eala will need to manage the scoreboard as well as the quality of the tennis. If the match becomes a sequence of short exchanges, Anisimova's clean striking can become dangerous. If Eala can extend rallies, change patterns, and force the American to create under pressure, the dynamics could look very different. And then there is the crowd. Anisimova has already acknowledged that Eala is likely to receive overwhelming support, and she has said she intends to thrive on that energy. That creates an unusual situation. The American is competing in the United States, but the emotional center of the stadium could once again belong to Eala and the Filipino supporters. For Eala, the challenge will be using that energy without allowing it to create unnecessary pressure. The crowd can lift a player, but the player still has to execute every point. This is also why the Cincinnati match has become such a compelling story beyond the result itself. Eala represents a tennis nation that has waited a long time for a player to reach this level of international visibility. Her success has created a new audience around Filipino tennis, and every major match now becomes an opportunity for that audience to see one of its athletes compete against the world's best. That does not guarantee victory, but it gives the occasion a significance that extends well beyond the tournament draw. The US Open is the obvious next destination in the bigger picture. The tournament begins later this month, and Eala will arrive with far more momentum than she had at the start of the season. She is also scheduled to take part in Stars of the Open on August 27th at Arthur Ashe Stadium, giving her another opportunity to experience the atmosphere of Flushing Meadows before the main event begins. For a player whose career has already included a US Open Junior title, the return to New York carries a special connection. But before New York, there is business to handle in Cincinnati. Eala has reached the third round, and Anisimova stands directly in the way. The winner advances deeper into a tournament packed with elite talent, while the loser walks away with valuable preparation for the US Open. For Eala, however, the stakes feel slightly different because another strong result would continue to reinforce the idea that Washington was not an isolated breakthrough. It was part of a larger transformation. That is perhaps the most important storyline surrounding Eala right now. She is no longer chasing one magical week. She is trying to build consistency. Washington proved she could win a WTA title. Toronto showed she could continue competing deep in another WTA 1000. Cincinnati now gives her a chance to measure herself against a top 10 opponent before the year's final Grand Slam. Each tournament is adding another piece to the same picture, and the picture is becoming clearer with every match. There is also no reason to rush the story. Eala is only 21, and the most impressive part of this rise may be how much room remains for development. She has already climbed to number 20, but the next stage will involve learning how to handle the expectations that come with that ranking. Opponents will prepare differently. Crowds will expect more. Media attention will increase. And every loss will receive more scrutiny. Managing those pressures is part of becoming a permanent member of the elite. For now, though, the focus is much simpler. Amanda Anisimova is waiting. It is a first meeting between two players who have plenty to prove, but from very different positions. Anisimova is trying to reinforce her place among the game's elite. Eala is trying to prove that she belongs there. That makes this more than a ranking matchup. It is a direct measurement of where Eala stands against one of the players already established at the level she is approaching. And whatever happens, Cincinnati has already delivered another important step in Eala's season. She arrived as a top 20 player after an extraordinary summer. She survived the opening challenge against Ruse, and now she has earned a shot at Anisimova. The result of that match will determine how much further she goes in Cincinnati, but the larger trajectory will continue either way. Eala has already changed the expectations surrounding her, and every new challenge gives her another chance to raise them. The biggest question now is not whether Filipino fans will show up. They will. It is not whether Anisimova understands the atmosphere. She clearly does. The real question is whether Eala can once again translate all of that attention into the tennis that has carried her this far. Can she pressure Anisimova's serve? Can she defend against the American's power? Can she maintain her composure when the momentum shifts? And can she turn another high-profile opportunity into another defining victory? Those questions will be answered on court, not through predictions. That is exactly what makes this matchup so intriguing. Eala's season has already exceeded what many expected, but the schedule is giving her another chance to test the ceiling. Cincinnati is not asking her to prove that she is talented. She has already done that. It is asking whether she can consistently perform against players who have spent years competing at the highest level. And that is where the Anisimova match becomes a perfect test. The American has the ranking, the experience, and the Grand Slam pedigree. Eala has the momentum, the confidence, and the belief created by months of increasingly significant results. Neither player gets to rely on the past. Because they have never faced each other, the match begins without a head-to-head advantage. The first meeting will be about adjustments, execution, and who handles the moment better. For Filipino tennis, that moment is already significant. A player from the Philippines is competing in the third round of a